Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Eye on the Ball. I'm Steve Rivera, and you're listening to 1030 The Voice. Busy day today. I was at a press conference this morning for the PGA Classic. It looks like Color Guard. It doesn't look like it is. They are going to be the sponsor of the event through 2025. They extended the agreement for 5 more years. Congratulations to Judy McDermott and the Conquistadors. You're not a member, are you there, Mr. David Adams?
No, I'm the winner of the tournament, usually.
You would look great in that hat. You know that? In the Conquistador hat.
I'm just telling you.
Good luck there, Kwevi. Hey, in studio, for whatever reason, they must have been paying me $1,000 or $2 for this show. I have Kwevi. Kwevi, what's your last name?
Quaye.
Kwevi, Quaye, that's
Yeah.
easy. And David Adams, the MC for I want to say invitational, but it's not. It's a big event. 14 years? How many years?
15 years this year.
15 years for
Yeah.
the Diaspora Showcase
Yeah.
from Africa.
Yeah.
15 years. Well, and how do you find you, David Adams?
Well, I'm African.
There are many of Africans in this town.
No, I'm the African.
That makes sense.
That's how they find. Me and Kwevi went to college together, and we had a couple classes
Good.
together.
Did he actually go to college? Kwevi?
Yeah, I surely did. But I'll tell you something. They used to live in Babcock in those days, the university.
No school was going on at Babcock.
Yeah, no. The
they
football
did
players.
live in
The football
Babcock. I
players
didn't live in
lived. Yeah,
Babcock.
the football players lived in Babcock.
So you can tell me now, Kwevi, because it's statute of limitations have already gone. Did he actually do any homework, or did you do the homework?
Oh,
for him?
he did it. David was pretty smart. David was pretty smart.
Man, first of all, there's nothing that I can't do, number one. That's the first thing you need to remember. Number two, man, of course I went to class.
That's where the girls were.
Number one.
That's true, too.
Number two,
That's
they knew if I didn't show up, they would know.
That's true. That's true.
So
The coaches would know.
just them. The
let's
teachers
go-
are looking for you.
Let's go there real quick. Not that you missed class, but how tough was it when you didn't miss class, or when you missed class with the coaches?
Oh, it was terrible. It was a morning patrol, so that you had to go on the morning patrol if you missed class, which is get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and you had to do a bunch of different conditioning drills before your classes. So that was you never wanted to be on that.
Right.
So-
No, and that's good. Obviously, years later you realize why they did it.
Right.
Discipline and all that. So if you don't know, David Adams was the former running back for the U of A. Kind of good, kind of okay.
Well, he always says he was a big man on campus.
I think you must be talking about David Adamson. If you're talking just okay, it got to be David Adamson. Yeah, David Adams, I like him.
Kwevi, where did you find him besides the college? You had no other choices
To find David?
to find David?
Well, I'll tell you the story of Babcock, when it comes to football. Because most of the football players lived in Babcock. That was their dorm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
1984, 85 -ish?
1980, 82, 83.
I got there in 82.
Okay.
Yeah, 82, 83. Most of them, I'm talking of Ricky Hanley.
Mm-hmm.
What's your...
Everybody
Everybody,
Marshawn
Graves.
Julius Holt, Lamont Honey, Randy Rob.
Yeah.
The upperclassmen stayed in
They all
Babcock
stayed in
before they
Babcock.
could get
Yeah.
an apartment.
Okay.
They all
The
stayed-
freshmen coming in, we stayed at Graham Greenlee.
And it was hell, I tell you that much.
Mhm.
But it was fun.
Yes.
It was fun.
Back in the day.
I got to know all of them before they all became stars with the Broncos, and David went off to
The Cowboys.
the Cowboys.
And now he's a star in his own mind.
He thinks so.
Yes.
No, I really don't think I'm a star. You guys
We
think that.
perpetuate it.
You think it, which I'm not going to argue with you
Come
about.
on, David. David, you always say that you're. Every time we go places, you said they got to know that I used to be a big man on campus.
No,
Yeah.
I never say that. That's you come up with that.
You just need to get a T-shirt that says that.
I'm a big man on campus.
Yes, I'm a
No.
big campus.
If you gotta say it,
You don't. Yeah.
exactly,
I firmly believe in that saying too. If you have to say it, then you're not really it.
exactly.
On anything.
I agree.
On anything. I have a lot of money. I'm blah blah blah. If you have to show it.
Your
no.
mannerisms should dictate all the things that you are.
Welcome to the David Adams Hour. Well, you'll learn a lot of lessons here.
Call in and we can help you. Sit down and relax.
So Kwevi, tell me about your thing, your showcase. Yes.
Well, we've been doing the show now for 15 years, and it's been a fantastic support from the community. And what the show really is: African fashion, music, dance, food
Mhm.
from different parts of the continent. and then we have an after party after that.
And that's when David shows up
No, I'm the host.
He's the host.
of the whole thing.
Bam.
Yeah. David has been hosting it, and this much I'll tell you, he's been terrific.
You wouldn't have him back otherwise.
Oh yes,
And that doesn't
he's
shock
been
me.
terrific.
He is like the Don Cornelius of the showcase.
Yeah,
Well,
he really is.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
He
but
really is.
haters like yourself have been hating for so long. This is just killing you to know that I could actually do something besides run a football.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's
I'll
killing
take
you. I see it in your face.
My face has been killing people for a long time,
Why are you
David.
picking on Steve, David? Why are you picking on Steve?
I'm not picking on Steve. I know haters when I see him, and that's the president of the haters club.
dues are due there, Quevi. The dues are due. So that's great. So where does the money go?
Well, what we did, when we started the showcase, we had a mission. And one of the mission was to spotlight some of the charitable organizations that have been doing wonderful, wonderful things, especially in Africa. The first 2 years, we spotlighted Ethiopian Children Fund, and we helped raise money for them. The third year, we did the Ghana Education Project, and they were doing AIDS awareness, building libraries. And currently, the last 3 years, we've been spotlighting the Forgotten Children Fund from Senegal. And there are some boarding schools being built for the forgotten children. And Safeway is one of our sponsors. Oh, yes, Safeway has been one of our sponsors for the last 14 years. And we've had some great sponsors. Southwest Airlines started with us, Safeway, Pima Federal Credit Union. So what we've done is that some of the sponsorship that they're giving us, we're asking them to channel it to some of those organizations too, which Safeway has been doing in the last 4 years now. So it's been fantastic.
Yes. And you've worked most of those years, Dave?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
We go, like I said, we go back
More
since
than-
1982.
More than
so,
30 years.
yeah. So it's a fantastic opportunity to not only give back but learn things about
Their culture.
my culture and culture period of different areas in Africa. So I feel fortunate that Kwevi did ask me to do this because it helps me more than I help them.
Let me say this. I was not prepared fully to have you guys in, but I'm glad you are, because we'll talk about sports. If you guys want to just talk about sports, given your experience with these guys back in the day. I love talking about back in the day. Dave knows that. But we'll also talk about what's going on today. I know David's a fan. He pays attention to what's going on. Today, we had Color Guard, I mentioned that, but we also had Basketball Media Day, start of another big year. You a big UA basketball fan? I assume you are.
Of course.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen this year?
Well, I don't want to take anything away from the coach, but Olsen was my favorite.
Oh, I think many favorite, yes.
And I followed everything he did. I think since Olsen left the Wildcat, I just take it 1 year at a time. I don't make any predictions. I wait until they play their preseason games, pretty much the warm-up games, to see how good the team is going to be. So I usually don't make predictions. Maybe David will make some predictions, but I usually don't for basketball.
David will tell me when the world is going to end. That's how many predictions he makes.
Well, being the vast amount of knowledge that I do have, I'm just trying to help.
So do you have any predictions?
The Wildcats have established such a not only following but just a great record that it's in a category that when they only win 19 games, it's a bad season.
Right. No, and you're right.
When there's a whole bunch of schools that would kill for 19 games. So U of A's down years are still good years, but they're just not at the level that Arizona's used to.
But they've established that high
without
bar.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's just like 8-3 and 9-2 for U of A is a great season.
In football.
But if you go to Miami, Ohio State, and you do 8-3 years, they're talking about firing you.
Coach is gone.
They haven't established that in the football yet.
Right. So what do you think about, I know we have to go to break here in about a minute, football? Are you okay with what's going on so far? You could reserve your right.
No. I think it's going in the right direction. It's just not going to go at the speed that Tucson wants it to.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the thing about it is, once you catch up to where Tucson wants you to, they're happy with the 7-4 and the 8-3 and the Orange Bowl type of thing.
Let me also say this: you talked about the fan base and how they haven't caught up to that. What about alums? There's two different things: alum fest
Mm-hmm.
and the general public fast.
Big difference, because see, the thing about it is the alum players are so upset that football has changed so much
Right.
that they don't understand how, with all this passing and you can't touch this person, you can't touch,
Mm-hmm.
why isn't it 80 to 79 every week?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you hurt your finger, you can't play. I don't understand these type of things. So since football has changed so much, we still mentally haven't adapted to the softness of the game. And I'm not saying that the game is totally soft. It's just a lot different than before.
I know you could have played in this era, but how much different would it have been for you? You would have had a few thousand yards.
Per game. The difference is now is that they get you in space, and in space is where a person with my abilities can really excel.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was growing up, it was like, look, you got 11 people trying to stop me. Let's make it happen.
Right.
It wasn't putting me in positions to necessarily be successful. It was like, David, here's the ball, make some things happen. And now, my size type of back is what they're looking for. When I was in school, they wanted another Herschel Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Dickerson, 6'3",
Big
230
backs.
type of guy. They were fast. So I wasn't the end thing. Now they don't mind using the smaller backs because they make things happen.
Along those lines, you were J.J. Taylor before J.J. Taylor was J.J. Taylor.
No, I was David Adams before I was David Adams. I wasn't anybody else. No. Yeah, that's a mistake.
That said, let's go to a break. I have to recover from that one and come back and talk about a lot of different things with you guys here on Trusted Local News and Talk. Hey, welcome back. I'm Steve Rivera here on 1030 The Voice. I'm talking with David Adams, former UA football player in Quaye. Tell me your last name again.
Quevi.
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 That's right.
my name.
So, where were we when we were arguing? They never argued
you
with
brought up something about JJ and me.
Oh, yeah. So you know exactly what I'm saying. You were him because you were a shorter back. You can get around and do some great things with your moves, and that's what he does now. Do you see some of you in him?
I see some similarities. Just
You're more power too.
And also, I didn't miss any games, so that was a big difference between me and a lot of backs. Period. I didn't miss any games.
Yeah,
Once I became a starter, I always played.
Yeah. Did you play hurt?
Of course.
Like severely hurt?
Yeah, I was shot in a drive-by shooting, and I just rubbed some dirt on him and played in the game.
Did the coach know that, David?
I didn't tell him till after the game.
Oh God!
David,
this is why I'm going to heaven. My one listener.
But I didn't miss any games, so that's one of the difference between me and a lot of running backs. Period, because it's definitely a mental situation with the pain and what's happening.
Yeah, no question. So you've known him since
college.
So he was a pain in the neck like he is now, right?
Always.
No.
Always has been.
Yes. Hey, I do have a caller. Let's see what John has to say. John, thanks for calling in.
Steve, it's always great talking to you.
Thank you.
I thought that maybe you and your friend David Adams, who rubbed dirt in a gunshot wound, might answer.
This is breaking news. This is John. This is breaking news.
He's tough, Steve. That dude is tough.
Tougher than Teflon.
My question is, what is the worst U of A loss to damage the fans' morale over the last 5 years? Was it last year's ASU?
Without a doubt, in my opinion, because they had it, and it was just a matter of just buckling down and doing what you have to do and saying no matter what, you're not going to score. And for whatever reason, they thought ASU was going to quit, and ASU says we don't quit till the final gun goes off. And that, to me, I can't remember a more devastating loss in an important game than that one.
Would you say that has damaged the alumni patronage to a point where they may be scrambling this year? Because I know a somebody that is going to cancel his very expensive seats?
That's a great question. I think the problem to me is that U of A doesn't reach out enough to the alumni.
I agree.
That's the real problem. I mean, you as an alumni, you can overcome any loss or any bad performance because you can always go back to your day. Well, in my day, this and that happened. But by the fact that they don't really try, to me, to bring in the players from the past, and especially if you go past the 90s, they really don't seem to do that. And I think,
why is that?
I don't have the slightest idea, because every time I watch USC play and they pan the sidelines, I see Marcus Allen, 79. I see this person from the USC that I know of, Charles White. I see him on the sideline, and I'm like, they went and got these people.
Do you hear otherwise, John? This is what I hear. Them saying that we do embrace you guys, but I don't see it.
Well, they embrace us when they want donations. That's what I get.
That's true.
Oh, well, we don't know where your phone number, your address to send you tickets to certain games, but you know my address and my phone number when you want a donation.
And email.
How does that work?
And your email address too.
They don't know all that when it's like, you know what, we're just going to bring in 20 guys and tell them, look, we're going to take care of you guys this whole weekend. And that makes you feel wanted. I mean, I know that you know where to find me when you want money, but if you don't want money, you don't know where to find me?
What you say is what I hear often.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys,
please,
does ASU do this differently?
I think they are with the coach that they got, because that coach that they have up there really understands the mental psychology of football, especially
the community part of it.
Not just the community, just what to tell the player. Like, if you want to get to the pros, I know how to get you there, because not only did I coach there, I played there. Now, and when you're done, I'm going to bring you in just to hang out with the guys because I remember you. And that's what the one of the big differences that I see with ASU now and U of A now. I mean,
why is this so hard? Why is this so hard to grasp this concept?
I don't understand, because I've been saying this basically since I left school. I mean, when I call in and say, hey, I really want to see this game this weekend. Well, let me look up your name, and then it takes them 10 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
Well, especially with Adams, I'm at the top of the list.
Right.
You're like, well, just a second, we'll find you. I'm like, I'm at the damn top. Adams. So, and you got to go through it, and then they make you feel like, well, let me see, did you play, or you just I'm like, what did you ask me?
So, John, I'm sure you hear this consistently, or you've heard about this before.
Steve, you've heard about this.
Oh, of course I have. I know I have.
Why is this so hard to fix?
Climate. I think it's a new regime. It's been new for 10 years.
But it's every regime.
Well,
every regime.
Not Dick Tomey.
No, Dick Tomey did a good job.
Stoops?
No.
Really? So it started after Dick?
Yeah. 2000?
That's already almost 20 years.
And the interesting thing, Dick Tomey knew your name, too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He wouldn't be like, there's a guy coming up here. What's his name?
Yeah.
When you see, hey, David, how you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just phenomenal. Dick Tomey was one of the best men that I've ever met.
I think climate has to change, John. Obviously, people there, even
Steve, it's just not. It never does, man.
No, I know. I totally agree with you. I've complained about it too, but it falls on deaf ears. It's like they don't care.
The interesting thing, you would think once they start winning, that it would change. And we've had several winning seasons. Not necessarily the 9-2, 10-1s, but we've had several winning seasons, and it doesn't change. Whether we're winning season or losing seasons or 500 seasons, it just doesn't change.
Let me ask you a personal question. Now, you don't have to answer me, though. Do you donate now? I would say no. I would assume no.
Yeah, I donate my time.
Okay.
Which is more important than my money.
If they want more and embrace you more, you would obviously donate more time.
Without a doubt.
So they're missing an opportunity.
Well, see, the thing about it is that players now, just like players when I was there, I want somebody from the 70s when I was there to come back and say, hey, this is what we did. We actually got you to this level.
Right. Without us,
you wouldn't have this new stadium and these fancy weight rooms and all the benefits that you have.
Yes,
I wanted to talk to those people when I saw them come around. I didn't actually think that U of A started in 2015 when I got there, and there was nothing before that. When they say 100 years of football, they're not just making that up.
Right.
But Steve, too, I think what happens when alumni who have been part of the game at the university comes back and sit on the sideline, it actually energizes the players. The class of 72 is there. They want this, they want that. We better shape up.
It
and
couldn't
do
hurt.
well.
It couldn't hurt.
It always energizes the players. It pumps you up.
Right. No, we've heard
as an
this
athlete,
before.
it pumps you up.
We've heard this in not only football but other sports as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any sports.
In fact, I think Joe Nails called me and said that it happens more than we know.
Yeah, of course.
On a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break because we have to, and then come back talk more about the Diaspora the showcase. Yes, here on 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. We're talking with David Adams, former U of A football player, and Quaye.
Yeah.
That was the late, great Eddie Money, Quaye. He just passed away last week.
Yes, he just did. Yeah, great song too.
Yes. So, Quaye, did you play sports?
Yeah. I ran track and field, and I played soccer. Well, we call it football.
Football, real football.
Where I come from, we call it football.
Yes. When you were younger, you played track and field?
Yes, I did track
Not
and
here
field.
at U of A?
No, not
How did
at
you find U of A?
Well, it's interesting. There's the guy who went to school here, and I played tennis also. So he and I were playing tennis. And
where at?
It was in Arkansas.
Okay.
It was in Arkansas. I transferred from Arkansas to U of A. And he told me everything that he didn't like about Arizona.
Uh-huh.
And everything he told me he didn't like is what I liked. And then I said, I'm going to go check this out. And I called my friends in Mesa. I said, I think I'm going to transfer. And I came to look at the school, beautiful school. I went to my College of Architecture. I went to the architecture school here. And I love the professors. Some of them are still very good friends with me.
What was your first? How did you meet David for the first time?
It was at Babcock. It was at, he didn't live in Babcock, but he always comes to visit his friends. Yeah.
And you were in Babcock.
I was in Babcock. Yeah. I was one of the few people in Babcock because I was an upperclassman. So I was one of the few people in Babcock in that role that didn't play football.
Oh, okay.
So I got to know all of them before they all went off to the Broncos and play with the Broncos.
Yeah.
So
Character back then as well.
it's the same. It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That is something. Yes, it's still the same.
That's not
David.
true. See, I've never been a character. What I am is I'm a truth teller, and nobody wants to hear it. That's the difference.
You kind of are.
No, not kind of. I'm the truth teller.
Well, you tell your story. I'll tell mine.
I know, but mine is the truth.
How about you? So Quaye, tell me more about this. So you played. Tell me about the soccer stuff, and then we'll go back to your showcase.
Well, I played soccer competitively for my school. It was called St. Gregory's College, and we won national titles. Then when I came to Tucson, I started a club called Sistema Soccer Club. It's a women's club. Because a group of women at the U of A wanted me to coach their club. That's how I started coaching. And after 1 year, we formed another club that we called Sistema. And we had two teams, one called Sistema, one called Tremors. And both of our teams were incredible. And 5 of my players, of our club players, played on the U.S. women's national team.
Really?
That won the first Women's World Cup.
What year was that?
1991.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The very first one in China. We had Karen Jennings on our squad, who won the MVP.
I'm going to Google all that.
Oh, yeah,
Google
please. We got Karen Jennings, the Golden Boot, she won that. We had Julie Foudy, Brandy Chastain.
Oh, really? Wow, that's way...
That took off. Everyone thought she was going to take off her bra.
Yes. That's one of the most famous moments in soccer history.
For women and men.
Yeah. Well, men don't do it.
They don't do that. I'm just saying for soccer
No, but they don't play football the way the women play football.
The women's team. You know, when we started, the women's team, the way I can say I'm one of the pioneers of the game for women in terms of coaching. And we always knew that the women were better than the men. Their knowledge of the game was better than the men. their finesse, their skill level was much better than the men.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not by accident that these women are winning so many World Cups.
Mm-hmm.
It's not by accident.
What? Let's kind of transition into your showcase. What gave you the idea to do it?
Well, it's pretty much actually what actually really happened that we started the showcase. We were going to bring a show from New York to Tucson. So we wanted to bring this particular fashion show that I was producing with some of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were top models that have done the shows like Imam, Naomi Campbell, all the...
They were doing that in New York?
Yeah, they were doing that in New York. So we had, that it's a side show. It's not like your regular brand runway shows with the great designers. But so we had this every year with one of the supermodels, Anna Gitana, who was my friend. She's from Ethiopia. So I told Anna, let's do this show in Tucson. That's my city. Let's bring it to Tucson. So we worked out the budget, and we realized that it was going to cost us about $300,000 to bring all these supermodels to Tucson. And we surely know we can't afford that. So one of my buddies, he was doing his research at the university also. He's a professor now in South Carolina. So we sat down and said, we can't afford $300,000. We can't get sponsors for $300,000. So we need to create our own show. That's how we created the Diaspora Showcase.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But we also said the mission was to present Africa in so many different forms,
Mm-hmm.
using one platform.
And that's through the
The fashion,
show.
the music,
Mm-hmm.
the entertainment.
Well, you schedule it at a bad day. I'm not saying that to criticize. There's a football game Saturday.
Well, we have some friends, and I have to say this. One of the people I admire so much, Ruben Salter.
Yes, I know, an attorney, right?
Yes, an attorney, and he, is a big-time football.
Yes,
you are a football fan,
right.
He always reminds me, say, well, if you do it on a football night, I will not be able to come.
Right.
So we always try to look at the football schedule before we actually plan. But this year we're having it in Tempe and we're having it in Tucson, and then the schedules of all the designers and so on. So we said, God, we just.
So when's the one in Tempe?
It's also the Diaspora Showcase, but in Tempe at
what time?
Fabric, October 5.
So a week later.
A week later, yes.
Yeah. So I have 2 tickets to give away to this event. Yeah. If you want to be the first caller to go to this event, please call us 790-2040. What are those tickets worth?
I think the tickets you have are $80 each.
$80.
Yeah, because it includes food, it includes dinner and show, and an after party.
Oh yeah. And the after party, that's when David Adams. Oh,
no,
you're doing the whole thing.
No, he's doing the show, and Snake is doing the after party.
Oh, good. God help you.
You see how he keeps trying to push me into the janitorial position.
Not only do you have David, you have Snake.
Damn,
Super Snake.
It's well, you can't give yourself a nickname, and I'm not going to take that one from him. But no, that's good. You have a double whammy there.
I really do. Really do.
So you've been doing hosting with this since it started?
No, not since it started. About 4 years into it, they came and wanted to upgrade the show, and they asked me to come.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. But I'll tell you one thing. We have another show we do in the springtime. David was the host of that show. And my friends at KXCI who came said he blew it completely
out of the water.
I'm telling you, and he did.
But,
he did.
Yeah, well, he's got some personality. I'll give him that.
Even the crowd, when a crowd gives a host a standing ovation, you know that host has done their job.
That it was over.
Well, they were glad it was over, but I still have arthritis from the autographs I was signing that day, so. They were glad.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Yes, pick him up by tomorrow. Yes. It looks like we have somebody who called in.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Take advantage of the tickets. Great. Thanks for calling in, Robert. You'll have a fun time, apparently.
Oh,
see, I can't go because I'm going to watch the UCLA game.
Well, next time we'll do it on...
You're going to California? Because it's away, right?
No, it's here.
Oh, I didn't know the game was here.
It was here. See, you asked for tickets.
Well, they haven't got back with me yet because they haven't found my name on the list.
That's true. So next weekend when it's in Tempe, there's a free date here. No, congratulations on this. You've done really well for yourself. So did you leave after you got your degree here?
No, this has been home for me since 1982.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Tucson.
Sure. When you decided to move to from here, from Arkansas, what were the first top 3 things that you said, I really like this place?
You know, the first thing I liked was the weather, because
What time of year were you here?
I came in December.
Oh, perfect time.
Yeah, I came in December to go to school in the spring, and the first thing I loved was the weather. But everywhere else was cold, and I remember my days.
68 here.
Yeah, and I was in my shorts. I was walking all over the place in my shorts, and everybody would look at me and say, "Aren't you cold?" But I was coming from a cold area.
Sure.
You know,
No, you weren't cold.
not anymore. I don't wear my shorts, during December anymore.
So what second one?
The second one, people. The people in this community are very, very friendly, extremely friendly, and warm and hospitable. So that was the second thing.
Yeah,
I liked.
Tucson is like that.
Yeah, and then Mexican food. I love Mexican food.
Oh yes. What's your favorite place? I'll ask David here in a second. What's your favorite place?
In Tucson?
Tucson to eat Mexican food.
Casa Molinas.
Okay.
Yes, I would say that's my favorite place. Yeah.
They know you. Hey, Kwevi.
Oh yeah.
You're like Norm.
But there was one that I really liked when we were in college. God bless him. His name was Mr. Araneta.
What was it?
It was called Araneta. It was on Speedway and Tucson Boulevard, where I think it has been torn down now. Next to Old Peking.
Oh, okay.
That section that has been torn down, it used to be called Araneta's in the 80s. And Mr. Araneta was my favorite chef.
What about you, Senor David Adams?
I go to Rosa's once a week.
I hear that. Where is that at? Is that on like
Campbell and Fort Law?
Campbell and Fort Law. I hear that all the time. I've never been there, and I've heard good things about it.
Great food. Great food.
Not as good as my place.
No, you're right. It's better than your place.
I'll have to go to. I don't eat Casamoli but that often, but I need to go to Rosa's.
You really do. I'm telling you.
I've heard good things about it.
It's really good.
Yeah. See, you can get me a sponsor now. You're hired.
I got you.
Yes, that's great. So back in the day, we'll go back and forth. Do you think back in the day were better times than they were today in going to school? I know that's a tough question because you lived that time, and now you're just a spectator. But you know what I'm saying? Those are kind of like still fresh times and kind of young times.
I don't know if it's necessarily better. I just think that there was a lot more focus, seemingly, because there wasn't as much to do. You didn't have the cell phone situation.
Right. More stuff to get in trouble with?
Yeah, you didn't have the internet.
Yeah. So
you had to do things on campus and deal with people. Now you don't. I text you this or I text you that.
Right.
So I think back then there was more interaction between people. So that's what made it a better time, in my opinion. Because
for the college life, you mean?
Yes.
For college life.
Yes. Yeah. Because now, I mean, are you going to the party? No, they're texting you.
Yeah.
And they're calling you on the phone. But before, you had to go hand out flyers. You had to go up and talk to people. You had to interact with people.
Right.
This is what's going on this weekend.
Well, now, are you own your own business?
Yes, I do.
Do you hire kids out of college, or do you?
Yes, I do. Actually, some kids intern with me. I've got 2 kids now from the U of A film school who are doing internship with me.
Right. So where I wanted to go with that, do you see the kids today different than they were back in the day?
Of course. And my kids are
good
examples.
No. In what way?
Well, just like David said, first, the social interaction is very, very minimal.
Limited.
Yeah. Extremely limited. We don't talk to each other as much as we used to. And then when you even try to talk to somebody, it's almost as if you're bothering them. Why can't you can text that to me? You not even email. You can just text that to me.
Sure.
So it's, the interaction is just so bad. Even with my students, the ones that are doing an internship with me, I made it a point. I said, no, we have to sit down and go over this together. I'm not going to send it to you by email. I'm not going to send it to you by texting, because the social interaction is important.
Right. And you feel the same, obviously. You just said that.
Without a doubt, I think that you got to be able to communicate with me on a level that I don't have to decipher. What you're trying to say to me, because in text, you
can translation. You lose
WYD. Okay, what are you doing? You got to ask me that in person.
Right.
You're not sending me all these codes and things like that. I just think it's truly successful people that end up in the Forbes 400 and things like that. They know how to interact with people, even if they're in developing a website or something like that.
Sure. At the end of the day, it is a people world.
Without a doubt.
It is.
Yes.
I have a friend from, I think they moved here from Russia as refugees about 15, 16 years ago. And she told me about a story about this texting. She likes to use the voice text. And one day I saw her and she said, I'm not going to use this voice text anymore because everything I say, it interprets it differently, and the voice text has already gone to whoever she's trying to reach, and then it's full of what she wasn't saying.
Right.
So that one-to-one is still important.
Text doesn't send the emotion that you want to send.
No, it doesn't.
If you want to cut somebody out, I want you to see the fire in my face.
Well, in fact, and we'll take a break here, but I mean, I'm sure in back in the day when they were quoting you, and there are certain people that affects this, you say something and it doesn't come out how you said
Exactly.
it. Because there's no emotion behind the quote.
Exactly.
But, because you're animated and whatever, it doesn't show that animation.
No, exactly. And then the next thing you know, you've got somebody
You said
upset about something because they say, well, I don't think he was that bad of a player. Oh, David Adams didn't think he was any good.
Right.
That's not what I said.
That's not what you said. Or how you said it.
Right.
Right. Let's take a break here. My final break here on 1030 The Voice.
Now back to Eye in the Ball with Steve Rivera.
Are we back here on 1030 The Voice? Okay, that was a request by David Adams. I like it. I like Earth, Wind & Fire.
I'm a big Earth, Wind &
I saw them
Fire
in
fan.
concert in Phoenix not too long ago.
Well, that's Earth. Without Maurice White, it's just Earth.
Okay, but they had what's his name? What's the
Philip Bailey.
Phil Bailey? Yeah. It was good.
I refused. Once he got sick, Maurice White got sick, I refused to watch him because
It's not the same. It's not the same, no.
Let's go back to talking about your event. Saturday, where and when and all that good stuff.
It's at the Dunbar Center, 325 West 2nd Street. It's close to Main and Speedway, about a few blocks from Main and Speedway.
So near the university.
Yes, it's not right near it, but it's actually closer to Pima Community College.
Oh,
also.
okay. Yeah.
Close to Stone and Speedway.
I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about now. And the tickets are costing how much?
Well, they start from $39, depending on what kind of seats. We've got $39, we've got $59, we've got $79, we've got VIP seats.
So the event that David's going to be emceeing, how long does that, like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
2 hours. Because there is dinner. Dinner is served at 6 p.m. Everybody gets dinner.
And then the fashion shows afterward.
Then there's a musical performances for an hour, and then there is the fashion show.
Oh, the fashion show, and then that ends, and then you have the after party.
The after
Are
party.
the tickets connected? Or no?
If you buy the tickets for the event, you come in for the after party.
Okay. And what if
free.
you just want to go to the after party?
If just for the after party, you can go on our website, and you can just buy the after party.
And where can they go? What's the website name?
diasporashowcase.com. I think it's on your website.
Okay.
too.
At
Diaspora
KVOI?
Showcase. Yeah, your station here.
Here, KVOI.com. You can
Yeah.
find more information.
Yeah.
And that's Saturday night, beginning at 6, again, on Speedway in Maine.
Yes.
Tell me again the address.
325 325 West 2nd Street. And if you just want to come for the party, then it's 9 p.m. The door opens at 8 p.m. for the party.
Okay.
And that Super Snake is hosting.
So it's going to be good music.
Oh, great
for
music.
Your boys.
Fantastic.
Great music.
Yeah, so
Great
you've
music.
obviously been there. It's a lot of fun.
Great music.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
everybody, when you come to our show, you're coming to see the Tucson community. It's not just for one select group of people. It's for everybody.
In fact, they're showing us right now. You can go to KVOI, go to /events, and you'll find the event there. Yes.
And it is something that you would most likely want to dress up for.
Yeah,
It's
you
not,
dress up.
It's
yeah.
not a very low-key thing like Tucson is.
No.
This is the one time you got to dust off some of that stuff and come out there and look good.
So how many people do you expect, or do you usually have?
Wherever we have the event, we fill it up. We had it at the JCC one year. We had 500 people.
Really?
Yeah, we had it at the Sabah Shriner, which was the very first place we did it. We had 400 people. As big as the venue, we fill it up. And we, of course, we're going to fill this one up.
In all honesty, I've never heard of that. But then when they started telling me about it, I said, oh, this is interesting.
Well, all the mayors have come. Rothschild came 2 years ago. Bob Walkup. Walkup came at least 4 or 5 times to all our shows. And he used to tell us every time he shows up, you guys need to get a bigger place.
So is that place you're at a bigger place?
Well, it's smaller, but there's a reason why we went there, because the Dunbar is an historic place for African Americans, and it's one of the way of honoring those before us.
Let me say something stupid. So it's not just for African Americans?
No, it's not just for black people, frankly. It's for everybody.
And by the way, that's not a stupid question. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to be rude.
That we're asked everywhere we go to promote it and we go to talk about it, because I think the crowd is 60% non-black.
It is. And the first 2 years, this will be interesting to you. There's now she's a lady. She was a little girl, then 19 years old. Elvia Arevalo, Hispanic Mexican American. She was our spokesperson for the first 2 years. And she wore the African guy she was just incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
The one thing that you know about Tucson, it's diverse.
Yes.
Yeah. But not enough African Americans. I don't know if enough is the right word.
No.
Is that
It's a small percentage.
There's 1 million people in Pima County, and the's 40,000 blacks.
Yes,
What's that?
small,
What is that
small.
percentage? 4%?
About 3%.
About 100 zeros and then 3.
About 3%.
Or it feels that way to you. No, but it is a diverse.
It's a very diverse. Our show is very diverse, extremely diverse. Like David said, the very first date was 80% non-blacks. Now it's come down to about 60% because people are hearing more about the shows, and they're all coming to see the shows.
I know we got to close here in about 2 minutes. You lived here all your life?
Yes.
Why did you not move away?
Because I've born and raised here, and I think it's very important.
But there's a reason for the community.
Right. I think it's very important that you take care of the community that takes care of you.
That's true.
And even if you go off and you become this famous Tennessee Titan, I think you should still come back to the people that supported you when their hard-earned money was really, it really meant a lot to give up $10 to come and see you play in high school.
True. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think enough people do that.
No, I don't either. I think once they go and they make their name in the especially professionally,
right,
they tend to stay there. But I've always liked Tucson, and I hate the cold weather.
No, that's why he hasn't left.
Okay. That's why you haven't
Yeah,
left.
Oh, that's why you left.
That's why I left Arkansas.
I thought I was answering your question. Now we got other people jumping in. I'm confused.
Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses. These guys will be somewhere.
Casa Molinas versus Rosas. Is it Rosas? Your restaurant?
Rosas. Yeah.
I think we have a competition.
Look,
we have to have a competition about that.
If you want good food, go to Casa Molinas. There's no doubt about it. You want great food, you go to Rosas.
No.
There's your commercial.
It's the other way around.
No.
It's the other. Steve, we have to come back with for this.
You're taking me to each one of them, but I'll be the decision.
We have to have a competition about Casa Molinas and Rosas.
The bonus is you'll see me at Rosas.
Yeah, you won't go to Casa Molina.
I know. I like Casa Molina.
If Quevi's paying for it, you will, of course. Hey,
without a doubt.
This is fun. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, take care.